Hi, welcome back. I am Kieran, and this is Dharmesh, and we are slow travelers, and we've currently just landed in Merida, Mexico. This is our first time off resort, actually. We're going to be spending a few weeks in the area, slow traveling this area. And so for this video, we're going to basically give you our first impressions, essentially from our first grocery shopping trip to exploring just the areas close to where we're staying, which is the Central or Historic Center. And we're hoping that we're going to be able to try some local Yucatan food. And also, I think our plans were to meet up with some fellow travelers in a couple of days' time as well. So over to you, Dom.
Okay, so I will start with where we actually came from. So as if you were following from before, we were in Toronto, back home in Canada. So we flew from Toronto with a layover in Mexico City, and the total flight time was about 6 hours, give or take, for the entire trip, which is not very big for us. It's pretty much of a breeze for us. We've been doing some long haul flights in the last little while, so 6 hours was not a problem at all. The trip actually started off with a nice ride to the airport. We had our niece was very kind enough to give us a ride, so we want to say thank you to you, Nilu. For getting up extra early in the morning. Actually, she picked us up and took us to the airport, and then had to go back to go to work and watch after the kids as well. So thanks again. Now we usually, our normal routine is to get to the airport extra early. I don't like the stress. Kieran can deal with it, but I need to be there early. So we like to take advantage of any lounges that are there. So we did, and it was a very nice lounge. We were able to get some breakfast and some drinks before the flight, which is something we like to do. And it's usually a little quieter in the lounge. So it's a bit of a relax before we get on the flight as well. So I think that was pretty good. And then we were actually surprised on the plane. We didn't expect a meal. So they did provide us a meal. It was basically ham and cheese and a salad, but hey, it still tasted decent. It was good. We'll have a picture up here for you. They gave us a couple of cookies and things that with it too, so it was not bad at all.
Yeah, it was our first time flying Aero-Mexico, and we have to say the experience was extremely pleasant in both legs of our journey, because we had a layover in Mexico City and then flew from there to Merida.
Correct.
We didn't end up landing in Merida till about 6 o'clock in the evening. And when we landed, the first thing we noticed was the tropical heat. I think we forgot, having been in Toronto for the last few months, what it was like dealing with the heat. And it's definitely humid. Now, I have to say, not as humid as Southeast Asia, but it is humid and it's been very hot. And so if you're going to be in the area this time of year, which we're here in September, make sure that you have some light clothing, right? And I think we should really talk about transportation, like how do we get from the airport back to the Airbnb? Because the day we arrived, it was pouring.
Correct.
Pouring rain.
It was pouring rain, yeah. So, I mean, getting from the airport to our accommodation, we had done a little bit of research and discovered that actually what we prefer to do sometimes is take a share ride, Uber. But unfortunately, Ubers are not allowed to pick up at the airport. So taxis were our only option if we were doing that route. The other option, of course, and we recommend to people, is if you still want to do Uber, then you just have to take a short walk to the main street. There's supposed to be a bus station or a bus stop that's nearby. You can usually go there and then just call for an Uber there. But we got lucky, right, Karen?
Yeah. Now, we should mention that there were plenty of taxis. We did notice other people taking taxis, but we got extremely lucky.
How did we get lucky?
And we're lucky because our friend David and Marie were kind enough to pick us up from the airport. So once we got in, we landed. Thankfully, we didn't have any check-in luggage. We were able to call them and they picked us up. Now, it took them a bit longer because of the not so nice weather that we had arrived to. But it was really nice arriving somewhere foreign and having familiar faces pick you up. And we really appreciate the ride from the airport, David and Marie, especially on that day, because a lot of the roads were flooded.
Yeah,
So it was a bit scary.
we arrived. It was dark,
Yeah.
and being flooded, we definitely would have gotten wet and soaked, and we truly appreciate that.
Yeah. So let's move on and show you our accommodation. As most of you do, when you book a place, whether it's a hotel or an apartment, there's some trepidation. You're nervous about where you're going to land, especially if you're going to be there for a number of weeks. And we were pleasantly surprised. So here's a tour of our accommodation. Hey, welcome back. We just wanted to share our accommodation in Merida, Mexico. We got in really late last night, so we waited until this morning to record this. So as soon as you walk in the front door, there's a nice sitting area. So this is our living room. And the tiles are really beautiful in here. They look like authentic Mexican tiles. And then along this wall, we've got our TV and then this beautiful bookcase or display wall. And I'm excited because the host has left quite a lot of books that I should be able to read while we're here. What's really nice is there's a really cute little courtyard area back here if you wanted to step out. It's not a huge garden, but beautiful plants that are growing out here. Nice tropical plants. And then let's walk into the bathroom next. So the bathroom's sufficient for the two of us. It has everything we need. It's not super huge, but again, the tile work is beautiful. The shower's nice and huge. And again, the host at this one was quite nice. They left us some toiletries, which if you're slow traveling, that doesn't happen. It's not like checking into a hotel.
Yeah, and they're full size soap bar and toothpaste. So not just the travel size, but full size.
Yeah. And coming into the kitchen area, we've got a good sized table that we'll be able to sit and eat at, as well as do our YouTube work. And when you step into the kitchen, it's got the kitchen has a 4-burner stove and also a little oven. I think it's a convection oven. We've used it to warm up our breakfast this morning and it worked very well. Lots of cabinet space, good sized sink. Super excited that we have not only a washer, but a dryer. Again, if you're slow traveling, that's a commodity. And then we have a good sized fridge, and she was also kind enough to stock us up with some drinks and some water bottles, and also a good sized freezer. So we should be able to stock up quite well. And on this wall here, we've got our microwave, a kettle, and a blender. I guess we're going to be making some margaritas while we're here. This is a loft style, so we're going to go up the stairs, and I absolutely love the stone wall. I believe these homes are older Mexican homes that have been converted into or renovated into the spaces that they're at. And, we're just in awe of the decor. When we booked this place, it looked quite nice in pictures, but it does definitely exceeded our expectations, and it is far nicer in person. The bedroom's huge. Dom and I were surprised when we walked in here. Huge king size. We think it might even be a California king. Nice size nightstands. Again, they're not little minis like most Airbnbs have. Good wardrobe area. So we'll be able to unpack our stuff because we're going to be here for the next month. I believe month and a half. And then I'm excited because we have a dressing table. That's something that you don't get in places. But overall, the place is great. I'm not sure if Dom got the ceilings in here. They look like traditional ceilings. I'm not sure what style this is called. All right, so I think we're going to be super excited to be here for the next month and a half. The place is great. So what we need to do next is head out and pick up some groceries so we can fill that nice big fridge. And I guess that's it for our accommodation.
All right, so the next day we actually ended up deciding to go for a bit of exploration, head out a little bit. So first place we ended up stopping at was for coffee. We were just walking down a street and we came across this very nice, quaint kind of coffee shop, right?
Yeah, it's a really nice small coffee shop, and locally owned, I believe, by a mom and her daughter. And we do try our very best to support local businesses wherever we go. So if we can wherever possible, we try to get to those smaller shops. And let me tell you, the coffee at this place was delicious. And the atmosphere was also really neat and laid back. I believe the coffee shop, the name of the coffee shop translates to Fat Cat. And there's definitely a lot of cat art in the shop as well. And we're told that the coffee beans at this particular shop are fair trade and organic. And it was, evident because the owner is extremely meticulous, not only with the quality of the coffee that she was serving, but also the sustainability aspect of it. And we certainly noticed it was evident in the product, both in the presentation as well as the flavor of the coffee. So if you're in the area, do try to pop in and try and support. Gato Goro is the name of the coffee shop.
All right, we've stopped off to grab some cold drinks. Come into the cafe here, which translates to Fat Cat, right, Karen?
Yep, that's what they're saying is Fat Cat.
Nice and quaint. Not very big, but nice and comfy. And let's show you what we got. What did you end up getting, Karen?
I got a nice latte.
Coming in these nice big tall glasses, almost jugs, and then I got a lemonade with mineral water. So let's have Karen try it and see what she feels.
Okay, Mexico's known for its coffee. This is my first coffee since we've been here. Let's see. That's delicious. Really good coffee.
All right, so now it's my turn to try my drink. I'll pick mine up. Mine's the lemonade with mineral water, and they got fresh limes on it as well.
It looks good.
Oh yeah, that's limey. That's definitely the way I like it. Nice and sour, and nice and cold and refreshing. Now, we've been told by a lot of people that we shouldn't be trying the ice, and we forgot to mention no ice. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that we have no problems. But we'll see what happens, and we'll let you know.
I hope you don't jinx us.
All right, so then our next stop was the Plaza, or Grande Plaza, so the Grand Plaza, right?
Right.
I lost the train of thought there for a second, but the Grand Plaza. So yes, there are a lot of little parkettes or like little plaza squares throughout the city. This one is the more famous one in the sense that it's the Grand Plaza. And we wanted to make sure we just did a quick walkthrough in that location.
And it's in the center of town in the historic district of Merida. And this is one of the largest historic centers in Latin America, and it was founded, from what I read, I believe in 1542. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And there's a massive Mexican flag. Unfortunately, it's not very windy. We've got a group of people chanting over there for some reason. So definitely a nice place to come and hang out. Oh, look who I found. I found Karen. She's getting out of the sun with her umbrella. Smart idea. Yep.
So what we noticed in Plaza Grande is the vibe here is extremely lively, but very relaxed. The people in the markets in the area make it a vibrant area for tourists as well as for slow travelers like us. And we also felt completely safe walking around the streets that are mostly filled with local versus visitors. That's one thing we notice about Merida so far from what we've seen is it seems more lived in. And there seems to be less tourists. Like there's no, at least my sense is it wasn't overly touristic currently compared to other places or cities we've been to. Yeah,
it's not, I would say the word I would use, it's not as polished. It's more authentic in that aspect of it, I'd say. Mainly the central area. It's the more historic spot and stuff. And they haven't gone and, redone buildings and cleaned them up, like redone the facing of the fronts. They've kept a lot of the buildings more authentic, is the word I would say.
Yeah. And we really enjoyed, one of the things we did while we were there was visited one of the art exhibits at the Central Cultural Center of Merida.
And right across the street from the Grand Plaza is the Cultural Center. And as Karen's informed me, it is free entry. So let's go take a look here. There's an actual private event going on down the main floor. So they've told us that the exhibitions are on the second floor, so we're allowed to come up here.
So for travelers like us, Centro is perfect because we do enjoy walking, and it was very easy to get around. The sidewalks are I felt safe, like it wasn't slippery, and majority of the sidewalks are very flat, and it was easy to stroll around. Lots of little boutiques and shops to pop in and check out as well. And more than anything, I think we were enjoying like our initial feeling of looking at the architecture. There's a lot of colonial buildings. Also lots of Mayan influences, so it's been very nice walking around looking at those.
Yeah, and as our first day out, it was extremely hot. Like I already mentioned, the weather was there, so it was kind of nice not having to rush and see a lot of different things. We were just taking our time, seeing whatever we came across, and keeping it simple. So then, we're not running and building up too big of a sweat, I guess, if you want to say.
Correct.
So then what we decided to do was take a break. We stopped for lunch. So Kieran had done a little bit of research and had found this restaurant called Chaya Maya. And it seemed to have some good reviews. So we thought we'd give it a try. It gives you that traditional Yucatan kind of food, if I'm correct. So we did go in. It was easy to find and not too far from the Grand Plaza itself.
Yes, and if you're in Merida, we would highly recommend this restaurant. And it really, we think, should be your first stop for local, as Dom said, local Yucatan meal. And it gives you a good introduction to the local flavors. This is our first official meal out in Merida, and I've ordered a tamale with turkey, I believe, and onions. It's wrapped in banana leaf, and Drum's meal looks a lot fancier than mine.
Yeah, I ended up with marinated seasoned pork. Looks like we've got some black bean soup, and looks like some beans and rice to go along with it. And then they give you freshly made tortillas. Now we will show you at the restaurant there are a couple of ladies positioned at the ends and the sides that actually are making the tortillas fresh. So we'll once we're finished eating, we'll walk over there and check that out. Give you a review on the food as well. All right, let's get into this.
So I'm going to dig into my tamale. Like I said, this one's got roasted turkey, and it looks... It tastes as good as it looks. Gotta get some of that sauce on there. So delicious.
All right, so let me try mine now. Like I said, I had gotten the pork, so let's just take a couple of pieces of that. Very good. It's nice and thin. It's not too dry at all. It's got a bit of juice to it. So let's try this black bean soup. I've never had black bean soup before. Actually, it's good. It's not bad at all. I wasn't sure what to think about it when they said it, but it actually tastes really good. Definitely give it a thumbs up, and I'd try this again for sure.
Okay, so one of the nice things about this is they're making fresh tamales, And as you can see, she's got her whole station set up. And it's being freshly made over here by this wonderful lady. It looks quite delicate, but she's definitely got the art down. Gracias. Okay. After all of that exploring and after filling our tummies with a delicious lunch, we decided to go do some grocery shopping so we could fill our fridge. And we did get just the essentials that we needed for the next few days. And our total grocery bill for this run was 1,209 pesos. And we'll just give you an example of a few different items that we picked up. A liter of lactose-free milk was around 26 pesos. We'll give you all the pricing in pesos, and then we'll make a note of them in USD and Canadian pricing. Pasta, Barilla pasta, your average 500 grams range between 15 to 26 pesos. Tea bags, just basic black tea, was around 32 pesos. We also picked up some Arizona iced tea cans, and they're around 14 each. Tissue paper, a box of it was around 31 pesos. Toilet paper was around 25 for a roll of 4. I picked up a small bottle of lubricating body lotion, and that was around 47. And then for produce, 3 avocados cost us 62 pesos. Half a papaya was 35. And then tomatoes were running around 10 pesos a kilo. And then tortilla, we'll have to tell you the story about the tortillas. It's quite funny, actually. It was very cheap at 12 pesos, and we got a whole kilo of tortillas.
Yeah.
The little ones that you would use to make tacos.
Yeah. Well, we almost got double that without us. And this is our fault. We've come here without any really Spanish knowledge at all.
Yeah.
Very, very basics. So they actually make them fresh in the grocery store. They have a machine there. A woman will just take the dough, toss it into the machine, and the machine just does everything and pulls it out freshly made. And then I tried to ask for 20 pieces, and there was a bit of a language barrier. Even though I used Google Translate, still there was a problem. And she thought I was asking for originally, she was like 20 kilos. And I was like, no. Then I was like, no, less than 1 kilo, just 20 pieces. And then she packaged up 2 actual separate packs of tortillas. And I was like, no, I'll just take 1. So just 1 kilo we settled on, but we almost had way too much.
So let's just say we're going to be eating tacos for a long while with a kilo of tortillas. Overall, I think the grocery stores here are very well stocked, and there's plenty of fresh produce and bread and local specialties. A lot of at this particular one, there were a lot of local baked goods, and we did pick up. Actually, we picked up some croissants and stuff too that were really yummy. But I don't think you'll have any problems finding groceries. But at a later date in our future videos, we intend to get ourselves out to Costco because they've got Costco out here.
There is a Merida Costco. So we're looking forward to our first Costco in Mexico and seeing what they have and doing a bit of a comparison there and getting some familiar items from Costco.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely have to check out the hot dog. I always have to see what the pricing and if it's the same or not.
Oh, we also picked up a full roasted chicken.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Right. We'll list the price on that. I can't remember the price for that one. It wasn't very expensive.
Okay. So now the other thing we should mention to you, and we knew this coming in because like we mentioned, we have friends here that are actually staying here in Merida, that there is actually a very large expat group that resides in Merida and in the nearby towns as well. So what we were lucky enough to do was being able to go to one of their get-togethers. So definitely something that we were looking forward to, and meeting some new people and getting some sort of contacts and more information.
Yeah. There's a lot of retirees, but there's also digital nomads and slow travelers like us that are coming through. And they usually have these meetups over meals. And I believe there's also language exchange. There's a day when they do Spanish language classes as well. And also some cultural workshops. So, if you're planning to either move here or stay here a bit longer, like for a few weeks like we do, it certainly makes settling in a lot easier. Do look them up. I believe there's a Facebook for the expat group. So look them up through Facebook. So after just 2 days, here's what stands out to us based on our first impressions of Merida. This is considered one of the safest cities in Mexico, and we certainly feel that's true. Also for solo travelers, if you're a female solo traveler, you shouldn't feel unsafe being here. And it's a city that's extremely welcoming. There's such a nice mix of colonial charm when you look at the architecture in the area, but there's also a lot of Mayan heritage. So visually, it's a beautiful city. As we said earlier, it's more lived in. So it's nice because it's not extremely touristy. And for us as slow travelers, this is the perfect city because we want a bit of culture and we also want comforts, which we find here. We should mention that we have noticed just in the couple of days that we've been in here that it would be extremely helpful if we knew Spanish, because compared to when we stayed at a resort, say in Cancun, where English was widely spoken, it is less spoken in this area. So just be aware of that.
Definitely be aware of that, yeah. I mean, however, we were surprised by some of the prices that were here. We've never been off resort, so we were expecting some of the lower costs, things like that. But the pricing of transportation seems fairly reasonable. Like we mentioned earlier, we had taken some Uber rides, and they averaged anywhere from $5 to $10 depending on the distance. So nothing crazy, but still reasonable compared to other places. Most places are walkable from where we're staying, so it's been kind of nice on that aspect as well. But although we haven't been to the local markets, I mean, the grocery store we went to, it wasn't local. There still had other items and things like that. There was a bit nicer. We're looking for the Mercado. It's Mercado, right?
It's Mercado. It's the local market.
That's the way. Mercado. I always forget that Mercado. So the local locations, and we're definitely expecting the pricings to be a little bit more favorable there. But yeah, I think it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah. Getting around's been very easy. Like we said, it's safe. The sidewalks are safe to walk around. It's flat, like compared to some of the other cities that we've been to. It's not hilly, so you shouldn't have any trouble getting around. And we, like Drum says, we need to get ourselves to the local mercados, the local markets, because our expat friends that we met a couple days later did mention that, fruits and vegetables are going to be a lot cheaper locally. And then also food, I think, if we get to the local vendors.
But we are saying that it feels safe to us right now. We've only been here for 2 days now, 48 hours roughly. So we will, on our future videos, just reaffirm and confirm how safer we feel and what our impressions are as we go. So this is just our first initial one and a half day, 1 day sort of impression of what we feel here.
Yeah. So that's basically our first impressions of Merida. We're going to be here for a few weeks, as we've mentioned. So we're going to be doing a series of videos about the area. We're hoping in the next few videos that we'll be able to dive deeper into the food and local culture. And then we're planning some fun day trips out of the city. And so do keep an eye out for these videos. And I guess thank you for joining us once again. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so then we can continue to make more videos like this. I guess until next time, let's travel together.